Well, hello there, my Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your twin flame contract reading for November-ish 2019. I say ish because time is fluid, and I'm not quite ready to say that all my readings are timeless. But of course, if you are drawn to watch this reading at another time other than November-ish, there's something here for you. Cool, cool. I am your reader. For the moment, for the new people, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of DrawingTheCircle Productions, 21 and a half years in business, spiritual events production, reading, teaching, all that stuff. Professional witch, professional intuitive, and very, very honored and happy to be doing this work as a YouTuber. Who knew? A year ago, I had no idea I'd be doing this. Here we are. For my subscribers, thank you so much for your subscriptions and for returning. Please do like and subscribe. If you are new, comment anything you want to say, and, you know, be nice. Your Aquarians usually are. Because I am shooting for that 1,000 subscriber mark, so eventually I can do what's called Drunk Tarot. Now, the thing is I rarely drink, and I never drink alcohol when I am reading professionally. I just did a tarot party yesterday out in Mauritius. It was lovely. It was a dear friend's 50th birthday party. She asked me to come in. She paid me. And of course, they were all like drinking and having a grand old time. They're like, do you want anything? I'm like, no, thank you. Why? Because my edit function shuts off. My inhibitions drop. And the readings don't stop being clear. It's just instead of saying, you know, well, you know, you might want to really take this deep into consideration and, you know, check in with your soul. It's more like, you're so screwed. You can't find your own nose without major support, right? And I'm a fun drunk, and I don't drink that often, so really, I think I'm just going to get like a bottle of Santa Margarita Pinot Grigio and just do shots of it, one for each reading, right? So that'll be fun, and we'll all know it's for entertainment purposes only, but the readings are probably going to be wicked clear, but also probably wicked funny, so please support me and support my channel with your likes, subscribes, shares, hit the notification bell, all that kind of stuff does help. Cool? Let's get down to business. If you are a regular subscriber and you know this spiel, please, someone drop a timestamp in for when the actual reading begins. But this needs to be said. The way I interpret soulmates is a little bit different than most. There are links in the description box below, along with all the different decks that I read at the bottom. But video links, YouTube links that you can check out. One by KAHN, brilliant spiritual teacher from the West Coast, who did one called Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined. That was a game changer for me personally. I am a witch, and as soon as a witch stops learning, they're dead in the water. So it was very refreshing. I hated both terms very much. Focused more on sacred contracts within myself, hence the sacred contracts. The archetype cards from Caroline Mace, her book Sacred Contracts, was also a life-changing experience for me, finding what my own personal soul contracts are. Still in process, I guess we always are. And I did one called Clarifying Twin Flames, Soulmates, and True Lovers. Twin Flames and Soulmates and True Lovers are different types of soul contracts that you make prior to coming into the life with certain souls. Now, soulmates, I just did the soulmate read, so I really went into that in each reading. Different than twin flames. They're not the same thing. Twin flames are soul contracts where the bottom line of it is you teach each other how to heal yourselves, how to love yourselves, and they are transformative, they are tricky, they are turbulent. They can be very toxic, and they are not always in the romantic sexual context. Just like you have hundreds of soulmates to help you heal, that's the soulmate contract, you have hundreds of twin flame contracts in that they teach you how to love and heal yourself, that the other person cannot give you by contract what it is you want from them, and vice versa. But they can give you what you need in order to learn, to heal, to grow, and evolve, and that sucks most of the time. And conflating the two, it needed to happen for a while. I mean, twin flame and soulmate contracts. But I think if you follow along with this, you'll be able to identify who the twin flame relationships are in your life, though we are looking only at one dominant contract for this reading. So please do check the description box. There's also my 2 ebooks to my shop are in there on my website, DrawingTheCircle.com. There are some videos on there from my Vimeo on demand page, 5 classes I did in my Path of True Love workshop series. I could have done another 50, but they told me to stop at 5, and I did. There is a book being written based on that material, but wickedly updated since I recorded it in 2017. A lot can change in 1 year, let alone 2. Cool. This is a general read. If it doesn't click for you, it doesn't click for you. I am reading the collective of hundreds of thousands of people, pulling one quantum timeline thread that I think is for the well-being of all, which is what my prayer is. Every time I bless the decks, before I hit record, it's very much, may this serve whoever watches it in whatever way. But that's why I check your other signs. I always do sun, moon, rising signs as a foundation for a zodiacal read, meaning a read involving the zodiac where I do all 12 signs. But then, of course, I throw in Venus for relationship stuff, right? Path of True Love, soulmates, etc. Cool. Last thing, please remember to breathe. I am clearing out a sinus infection that is now a week and a half in or so, and I broke down. I took the Alka-Seltzer plus cold daytime because that Pisces reading I just did was just like hacky and coffee. I was like, all right. So on my break, I did that, but more so than that, the breath is the divine. It is spirit, inspiration, respiration, really the same thing. That with every inhale, we're drawing in the chi, the prana, the divine love, the divine grace that we need for this moment and for this moment only. And not only are we exhaling anything that's ready to leave, like carbon dioxide, but we are then releasing that prana, that chi, that blessing. So to consciously inhale and exhale throughout a reading, or really throughout any process, procedure, wherever you are in life, it keeps you connected to the consciousness of the divine within you, which is who you truly are. Cool, you with me? So please breathe as we dive in. We are going to be doing divine masculine, divine feminine to differentiate between these 2 different souls in this contract. Gender has nothing to do with it. It's about energetic dynamic. I pretty much define as a divine feminine. No big shock. But in certain relationships, I become divine masculine, like with my mother, which is a soulmate contract. But I've dated men where all of a sudden I'm the divine masculine in the thing. It's just an alchemical thing that happens when different souls connect depending on the contract. So if it flip-flops back and forth, I'm that one, no, I'm that one, no. Well, it is a twin flame reading, so you're going to see certain things reflected in you that can be a little confusing, which is why we're using a lot of decks, DECKS, just to clarify my aquas, to clarify. The first 3 cards we're going to get from here for the divine feminine, for the divine masculine, and 1 for the contract itself. So it's sort of like her, him, and the contract, which is almost like an entity unto itself, like not a third-party situation. It's not just a merger of the 2 of their energies together, which there's some of that, as much as it is there is a transcendent point of view of what the contract is helping them both heal, right? Teaching them both how to heal. Cool. So please breathe with me. You can slow that breath down. I don't care how long these readings are. The Pisces one was over an hour. Let's see how we do here. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, 1 card to represent the dominant archetype, the soul contract part of the divine feminine, the soul power to be alchemized from lead to gold. In this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. This one. Who's the divine feminine here? The Don Juan. This is not the first time this has happened in a reading where a very, at least in name, masculine sounding archetype. Don Juan means Father Juan. We know what a Don Juan is. It's power of seduction. But for that to show up in the divine feminine position, it has to do with the power of seduction in its lead and in its shadow, which means there is a positive, holy, if you will. There is such a thing as holy seduction where the divine seduces you. But we'll get to that. Let's get 1 for the divine masculine. My pantheons, same thing. 1 card for the divine masculine here. What is his, and I'm using his or her just to differentiate. It's not about bodily gender at all. Please, one card for the divine masculine here. What's his dominant archetype, the soul power that he is being taught how to alchemize from lead to gold in this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising Venus sign, Twin Flame contract. Oh, and we've got the Trickster. The Don Juan and the Trickster. Sounds like an even match to me. Feels like an even match to me. I'm going to read what's written on those cards. I just want to get all three of them down first. It was different in the soulmate reads because there were only two. Let's get all three down so that we get the three main energies that then every other card that hits the table will be about clarifying those. So it's like 3 cards and then a crap ton of clarifiers. Breathe. It also slows me down so I don't forget shit that I'm seeing and feeling. Clairvoyant empath that I am. Please, my collective pantheon, same thing for this Piscean collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign, Twin Flame contract. What's the dominant archetype, soul power, really being developed in both of them and in this relationship overall? Well, we've got the goddess, a very divine feminine. You can't get more divine feminine family than that. The Don Juan is part of the wild card family, and interestingly enough, so is the Trickster. So Aquarians, we're dealing with 2 wild card family archetypes and 1 feminine. And really, if you're talking about the divine feminine, that there is something very goddess touched. There's something here about the development of divine feminine energy within the relationship itself. This could be very loving, but let's look at the lead and the gold, shall we? For the divine feminine, Don Juan, in the shadow. Using the power of romantic attraction for private agenda, right? It's like seduction with a hook in it. There's a private agenda. The way that I've learned to define shadow behavior, shadow pattern, is what is the behavior, the thing, the feeling, the secret that you would never want broadcast on like international TV or all over the internet, right? That you want to keep hidden and squirreled away. It's a great way to look at the shadow, but it's also part of the sacred contract that you came in to transform, to alchemize from lead to gold in this life. So that negative private agenda seduction is healed into the light attribute. Spotlights your positive seductive qualities, and there are positive seductive qualities. When your heart is open, right? When you're feeling fine, when you're feeling free, you're very magnetic. That is very divine feminine, where the divine masculine tends to be electro, right? Electromagnetic. That's why there's such a draw between twin flames. Such an attraction regardless of the form. Remember, this does not have to be romantic sexual bow with the Don Juan. I think we're looking at that unless it is like parent-child, where the parent is trying to use some form of seduction, like with money, to get the kid to do something that they should do. This can play itself out in so many different ways. So if you are the divine feminine here, just keep in mind that there is something you are learning about the power of attraction. For the divine masculine, Trickster, shadow attribute, manipulating others through duplicity, essentially lying, right? Sleight of hand, deception, scheming, very Seven of Swords in the tarot, particularly as an air card, right? A lot of thinking's got to go in that. But the thing about telling the truth is you don't have to remember what you said, right? Because it's the truth. And usually the trickster ends up tricking themselves when they do that. And tricksters always get caught sooner or later, right? The light attribute that you're shooting for here is transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior, right? Like coloring outside the lines. There's a lot of freedom. And by the way, there is pretty much a trickster god or goddess in every pantheon around the world. And considering they didn't have text message, they didn't have the internet, that really speaks of a deep archetype within the collective unconscious. But now here we have the twin flame contract itself as the goddess. That's pretty wild. Now, as a witch myself, I try and be as equally dedicated to my goddesses and my gods, but I'm definitely more leaning towards the divine feminine. I'm really glad this isn't my reading. No planets in Aquarius. The shadow attribute, exploitation of the female nature and form. So perhaps the divine feminine can appreciate that to an extent. It's like, well, I'm going to use what the good goddess gave me to get what I want, right? It's exploitation, it's self-exploitation, but in this relationship unto itself, perhaps the female form, right? The essence, the nature of the divine feminine is being exploited somehow, which sounds like a twin flame contract for me. The light attribute, what we're shooting for here in this relationship, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. So I gotta say, we've got the goddess and we've got the Don Juan and the trickster here. Twin flame contracts are tricky, but the goddess is part of this. That this is divinely, I mean, this is a sacred contract. All of them are. But in particular, there's something here about the divine feminine in both beings, because the divine feminine is in both parties in this contract. Let's get 3 healing with the angel oracle cards to clarify from Doreen Virtue. My angels, please. 1 card in clarity for the Don Juan archetype, divine feminine, in this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Twin Flame contract for November-ish 2019, please, my celestials. What say you about this Don Juan? Well, you've got the support of the angels, gods, goddesses, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. So you, pardon me, the divine feminine, Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus, it being supported. Thank God it's orange flavored. Makes it so much easier to go down. So that's really interesting. You really have the support. So, you know, there is something about divine seduction here then in that case where you might not want to do this anymore, but the gods are saying, come on, there's a point to this. There's something you're going to get out of this. You two may not be, you know, sorry, but now the masters are intervening over here, saying that there are plenty of people who get married who are in twin flame contracts or have long-term relationships, but they learn their own boundaries and their own clarity, that unconditional love can flow between the two of them. To me, that is the alchemy or the implosion of twin flame and soulmate contract into true lover. So just keep that in mind. You know, not all twin flame contracts end in misery. There's usually healing as each individual one heals. There's a great respect for the other in terms of their boundaries of what they can and cannot give. That's unconditional love. All contracts are about becoming true love, unconditional love. But the true lovers are a different thing entirely. Go check the True Lovers collective read I did for the month. Let's get one for the divine masculine, please, my angels. Breathe. Slow down, Mark. 1 card in clarity for the divine masculine in the divine masculine trickster archetype in this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Nature. Now, of course, that's like walking children in nature on one side, right? Oh, nature boy! But also that this might very well be part of the divine masculine's nature, right? A trickster. Now, you know, the trickster in its light is wonderful. They're fun to be around. I like trickster archetypes when they're healthy. Pranksters. I fall prey to a little trickster stuff around April Fools myself. Otherwise, I'm just too busy for that stuff right now, being the Virgo sun that I am. But to know that there's something about their nature, that there's something about their divine nature here as well. And of course, divine masculines. The planet is already in 5th dimensional unity consciousness. I don't think I've talked about that in this reading. That 3rd dimensional consciousness, the illusion of separation, 4th dimensional consciousness, the time corridor that it takes to heal and align as the 5th dimensional anchors in to our nervous system, clearing us out, right? It's like the embodiment of the higher self into physical form, pressing out all that needs to transform. But the planet nature itself is already in the 5th dimension, by the way, as is the physical body. The physical body's already there. It's just about clearing out the mental emotional field in the 4th dimension and and really releasing the emotional baggage, the physical toxins of the physical world within the body. But nature's already there, so there's nothing wrong with going for a walk in nature, right? So both are true. Walking in nature, even if it's just putting your feet in the sand, in the grass, going outside, breathing some fresh air, can bring you all that you need on the inhale for that moment, and exhale all that's ready to go in that moment. Let's get one for the dominant archetype of the goddess in this twin flame contract. Please, my angels, one card in clarity for this overall Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. We've got the goddess archetype as the dominant. What say you, my angels? Because it's about balance. It's about balancing the feminine energy in both of them. Very interesting. We're not going to leave it there. Obviously, we are going to take 2 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot to clarify the Divine Feminine. 1 card for her and 1 card for the overall relationship. We will do the same with the Mythic Tarot for the Divine Masculine and the overall relationship. Please breathe. There we go. Please. Oh, my goddesses, 1 card in clarity for the Divine Feminine Don Juan archetype in this Aquarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Please, 1 card in clarity. We've got the Don Juan archetype Divine Feminine with support and with deception. So whether she is being deceived or being the deceiver, there is something she's not seeing, something she's wanting to avoid. I know this card looks like the 2 of Swords in the sense of, like the Rider-Waite Tarot, balancing swords, indecision, but underneath there are 2 swords hidden from her and she's blindfolded. For a Divine Feminine, this can also certainly mean that she's turned her focus inward to see where she is deceiving herself, right? What is it that I can't see that's being hidden from me outside? Remember, we got a trickster going on here. What is it, really going deep, using the mind, the air, to focus into the water? 4 of Swords, usually thought of as meditation, contemplation. Sort of the same thing here. But it's only a 4. It doesn't mean massive revelation. It just means insight. Perhaps even to why am I even involved with this trickster? What is it that I'm not seeing? What's my part in this? Let's get one for the overall relationship. Breathe. My goddesses, please, 1 card in clarity for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. We've got the goddess as the dominant archetype and balance as a clarifier. What from the angels? What say you? My goddess, conflict. Straight up. Now tell me, are you really going to love me forever, or am I caught in a hit and run? Thank you, Paula Abdul. That really actually kind of fits here. Where it feels like the Don Juan is the one, this Divine Feminine used to be the one doing all the seducing, and she feels like, oh, have tables turned? Have I met my match in terms of this tricky thing here? Am I being deceived? Is somebody being duplicitous, saying one thing but meaning another? Is a trick being played on me? So it's interesting, balance with the 4 of Flames. Now, 4 of Flames, it's the 11-11 card. Yeah. In this deck, it's really about it seems like 2 people are in conflict. Flames. Flames on the sides of my face. But there's really only 1 fire here. So this conflict in this relationship is about balancing the imbalance, and it has to do with both of them, and it is about that Divine Feminine goddess power, about emotions, about nature, about the beauty of who each of these beings really are on the inside, the yin rather than the yang. It really does feel very equally matched, though. So I don't want to. It's not about fault. It's not about finding fault. It's not about placing blame. But it's like very equal in terms of the tricky going on here. You feeling me? Let's clarify. With the Mythic Tarot, Brilliant deck by Juliet Sharman Burke, based on Greek myth, my first language. Okay, it's my second language. I started reading Greek myth very young. Very young. Particularly after Linda Carter debuted as Wonder Woman. Her name was Diana, and I looked it up in an encyclopedia and thought she was the goddess of the moon. So I started praying to the moon. I used to get in trouble for that. Here I am. 50 whatever years later. All right. My gods, here we go, please. One card in clarity for this divine masculine trickster in this Aquarian collective. Well, that feels good. Sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract. What's going on? What's he doing on here? He's got going on here. He's got the trickster with nature. Oh, and there is the Seven of Wands. So as good as that felt, it's like he's very, very good at defending himself, right? Very, very, very good at, well, in a way, sleight of hand, right? About deflecting, about saying no, and that's just part of his nature. Now, is this right off the bat talking about a narcissist? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, narcissism is such a huge topic right now, and do understand there are many different forms of narcissism. Covert narcissism would be the tricky one because it can take years. It took me really a very long time to catch on to covert narcissism, because overt narcissism, they don't stand a chance. I will walk the fuck away every single time if you are abusive in an overt way. But when they're neglectful, right? When they are passive aggressive, harder to catch, right? So there's something about here, about that ability to defend themselves really well, and it's part of their nature. Now, you see, my issue with that is that I get the trickster part as being a lifelong archetype, and yes, we all have our defenses, we all have our ways of guarding and protecting ourselves, perhaps even fighting for what we want, defending what we want, and that can be inborn. But there's something that feels a little off there, although they might feel very, very good about it themselves. It's like, doesn't matter what the other says, I've got to reply for that, or I know how to defend against that, which tricksters usually have. That's why it's so much easier to just be truthful and honorable, and really shadow behavior is never going to get you where you want to go. Just the truth. I didn't write that role. All right. Let's get one for the overall relationship, please, my gods. One card in clarity. Breathe for this Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. We've got the goddess archetype. We've got the angels are saying balance. The goddess is saying Four of Flames. What say you, divine masculine, for this twin flame contract? Well, King of Pentacles, interesting. The Capricorn card, that there's something very slow and steady wins the race here, that there are Saturnian boundaries that are either in place or need to be in place in order to balance this conflict. Because I feel in this case, are you ready? It takes two to tango, right? That this is perhaps a codependent thing, perhaps a little addictive, perhaps very hard to move away from, an enduring sense of an ongoing game I'm getting here. But that there is also something very serious going on here. Slow and steady wins the race with Capricorns. Mountain goats don't just run up a mountain, right? Even if they live on that mountain their whole lives, they know where they can get away with that, and they know where they absolutely have to go. Easy, 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 step by step. So let's have a look now using the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, divided into the suit of problems, aka the Womp Womp cards, to represent the lead, the alchemical lead, what needs to be healed, embraced, etc. And the other half, the suit of the luck, the healing, and the graces, right? So sort of the gold, how those two interplay. We're going to pull one each for the divine feminine, one each for the divine masculine, and one each for the collective relationship. Please breathe. My air signs, my beloved Aquas, some of my dearest friends are Aquarians. We like to think a lot, the Virgos and the Aquarians. Good friendship. Nightmare romance, but really, really good friendship in my experience. So, my masters, please, one card, one lead, one problem card for the Divine Feminine, Don Juan, with support, and the card of deception in this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. You know, this card came up in the pre-shuffle pain. That there is a lot of pain going on inside this Divine Feminine, hence the support of the Divine. She's being very supported, but there's something she's not seeing. Now, let's just talk briefly about how we medicate ourselves from pain rather than heal or embrace or deal with what's going on. We can certainly do that with a relationship with a bad boy, right? Because we're not feeling so great, we're in pain, so sometimes we want that rebellious out-of-the-box experience, but if they're not really in their gold, they're just going to deepen the wound or bring more of the wound up. So keep an eye on inebriation, keep an eye on self-toxifying. Let's see what the gold is here. The light attribute, right? A card of grace, a card of healing, or a card of luck. Please, my masters. Same thing, but with the gold, with the healing, grace, or luck. Please, one card for the Divine Feminine in this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Please, one card. This one. Oh, the Lovers. It was at the bottom of the deck. I just saw it. So, you know, is this about, that this pain is certainly as the result of Lovers, but I don't know. Yes, this relationship can be painful. Yes, the Divine Feminine may not want to see this. Yes, she is supported and is very seductive in this. Keeps drawing this one back in as a twin flame. Contracts don't end until they end, or until real abuse or neglect comes in. That cancels contracts. You start over with someone else, possibly picking up where you left off, which sometimes is the best thing ever. But as I'm tuning to that, it's like she really loves him. She really loves them. The two of them, when they are together, really is something else. And it feels like when they are apart, so much pain. So possible codependent pattern there. If you two are in separation, Divine Feminine, it's just killing you. But know that this situation is helping to bring out pain of loss and abandonment and emotional baggage. Not just from this lifetime, not just from past lifetimes, but in the collective in general. We all have unprocessed emotional pain. That's why when one heart heals, all hearts heal, right? It's the holographic nature, fifth dimensional unity consciousness. That's what it means. We're all one, and that everything that's happening to us is happening for us. Everything's here to help us. You don't have to like it. You don't even have to agree with it. But if you can keep it in mind, you can have that lovely sarcastic moment where you go, this is supposed to be helping me, right? And just remember you said it, because then time goes by, healing happens, and you look back and go, oh. See, I don't call that an aha moment. I call that an oh moment where you go, oh, that's why that went down the way it does. Give up the need to know the reason why things happen the way they do, because in retrospect, often we are shown purpose, but purpose is part of the divine plan, right? Let's do the same for the Divine Masculine here. Please breathe. My masters, please, one card in clarity for the Divine Masculine Trickster here. Please show us the problem, show us the lead, show us the shadow going on here for the Divine Masculine in this Aquarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contracts for November-ish 2019. Houston, we've got a problem. Something's not working out for him, and it feels like not just in this relationship, but feels like going on within him. There's a problem here. A problem that most likely he's trying to mask through, and what was the word? It was really well written. Of course it was Carolyn Mays. Manipulating others through duplicity. So they are wearing a mask. Now, that problem could be anything from psychological, right? in terms of personality disorder, mental illness, chemical imbalance, something like that, something that may be able to be treated or not, but it can also be that they just have a problem in their life that is really influencing this twin flame contract. I don't think the divine feminine is the problem, but I feel like there's a problem there. There's a block there. The pieces are not fitting together, and he might be trying to do everything he can to make it work, and that is in his nature, but not necessarily going about it in the healthiest of ways. At some point, you have to say, okay, divine feminine, there is a problem here that we need to address, and we need to be adult about, and all cards on the table, let's just be honest, right? Now, that might lead to arguments. It might lead to permanent separation, but in a twin flame contract, I think really how you nail a twin flame contract, how you fulfill it, is you go your separate ways, and it's like, I bless you, I want you to have the very best and the very blessed in your life, and if you can't say that to them directly, even if you don't feel it, later on, you look over your shoulder when you are in a healthy, true lover or soulmate contract and go, oh my God, they totally helped me get there. I would have never been able to do this without them, right? And vice versa for both. So let's get a card of luck, a card of healing, or a card of grace here for the divine feminine. Please, my masters, one card in clarity for this divine masculine trickster in this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract, November 2019. Naughtiness. See, he's still like trying to like sneak around. Now, this is a luck card, so that naughtiness is probably his go-to, but there's a problem there. It's like, I don't think that's going to work anymore in this situation, no matter how hard he tries, but he's willing to kind of stand his ground there with that Seven of Wands, and that's just in his nature. Or at least trying to deal with this problem within himself by being naughty, or using the problem to condone for themselves their own naughty behavior. Now, it is a luck card. Certainly naughtiness can bring some levity, some fun. Definitely a trickster archetype word there, right? Even in the gold, even in the light, they're a little bit naughty. Like, I'm a little bit naughty, but I harm none. Look, I'm not Wiccan, I'm an eclectic witch, but I adopt the Wiccan read because I understand quantum physics enough to know that every breath, every thought, every emotion, every action changes the quantum, right? That we don't deliberately, with the mind only, track ourselves through the timelines, right? Oh, I'm going to do this, right? Sometimes that can send you in the exact opposite direction. That it's about wholeness, it's about honor, it's about clarity. It's about the soul, and all outcomes have already been determined in the quantum. That's the thing. But I've learned about meta-incarnation, which is different than reincarnation. It's where you keep incarnating as the same character in the same drama over and over and over and over again. So there's a good possibility that the soul in this body has played the role of Angelo Lyons mouth for short over and over and over and over again in order to make wiser choices. Sounds just like a video game, doesn't it? A virtual reality game. Oneness is our true state. So this is a virtual rather than an actual reality. Although it's very, very real, but that's a whole other conversation. Yeah. All right, let's get these two down, the lead and the gold, for the relationship in total. Please, my masters, one card in clarity for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. We've got the Goddess, we've got conflicts, we've got the King of Pentacles, and we've got balance. And there's a lot to balance going on there. Tain't going to be easy, but can you give us an indication of the problem or the lead here? A mistake, all right? So a mistake has been made that has triggered this conflict, that it is going to take time, slow and steady wins the race in order to balance, and I'm telling you, emotions are involved on both sides. So if this one's playing all cool and calm and naughty, it hit his heart, it hit his soul, hurt his heart, hurt his soul, although the soul technically can't be hurt. It's immortal. But then definitely the pain there, right? It's like she is feeling it, maybe not wanting to look at it, maybe not wanting to acknowledge that she has been deceived. No. A mistake. It's a mistake. Let's get the gold here. Please, my masters, one card in clarity for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Yes, breathe. My masters, please. We've got this card of mistake in the lead. What is the gold to help balance? Oh, I picked the wrong deck. It's all right. They look alike on the back. Usually I turn one right side up. My masters, please. Same thing. One card in clarity for this. Aquarian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising. Twin Flame Contract for November-ish 2019. Why will I be surprised? Okay, what is the gold here to balance this lead? Happiness. Yes, I am surprised. Considering we've got the card of a mistake here, that this is a happy mistake, that this can actually bring happiness to the relationship in terms of both taking responsibility, right? It takes two to tango. It's going to take time. It's going to be slow and steady wins the race. But it is the love of the divine feminine in both that brings this together, which is why, yes, because of certain cards, this feels romantic sexual for sure. But it feels like they're both hurt children, right? So there's a movement of compassion that they can give to themselves, that they can both find happiness as a result of this thing, which they are considering a mistake, and yet, if it's part of the divine plan, it may look like a mistake horizontally, but vertically from above, it's like perfect. That's what they needed. That's what a soul contract is. You go through, you gotta go to hell before you get to heaven, big old jet airliner. Don't carry me too far away, right? But there is that potential of happiness, and that is a grace card. So think of the grace of happiness. The goddess within both of them, if you will, the divine feminine in both of them. Part of their natural nature is to be happy. So this may be perceived as a mistake and as a result of conflict, but it's one that can be balanced, allowing both to be happy. If not together, then individually this has a decent resolution. We're going to pull three, I love these cards, Whispers of Love Oracle, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, Twin Flame Contract, and then we'll finish with a Journey of Love Oracle card for the whole shebang. Cool, cool. Please breathe. Oh, the voices of the higher selves of all involved. Please, one card in clarity for this Divine Feminine. Don Juan archetype with support, deception, pain, and the lovers. Please, a whisper of love from the higher self to the Divine Feminine. Consider your foundation. You're being asked to look at how committed you are to love. Not how committed you are to this relationship or this contract, but how committed you are to loving yourself. What is your foundation? For me, my foundation is, what would love do here? What would love do here? And if I don't know what to say, what to do, I go in even deeper, and I love whatever rises inside of me. Love what rises. It's embracing the shadow. It's the alchemy of divine love. You don't have to heal yourself if you love what rises. You will cry, you will scream, you will rail, but just don't act on it, right? Don't key anybody's card. Don't burn anybody's house down. But that, with that pain inside of you, that really consider your foundation. You're being taught how to heal yourself, how to love yourself. Consider that as your foundation in this twin flame contract. One, please, higher selves of all involved. For the divine masculine trickster with nature, Seven of Wands, problem, and naughtiness in this Aquarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract. One for the divine masculine, please, a whisper of love. Receive with love and appreciation. Receiving something lovingly from others is a way of showing love. So that talks about the receptive principle of the divine feminine within the divine masculine. Can he even receive love from nature, receive love from the divine? Offer that love to the inner child, which to me, the heart is the inner child. I talk to that child. Is that child ready to receive? Can it receive love? Because it feels like if anyone here was kind of pouring it out, it's the divine feminine. She didn't see what a trickster this divine masculine was and is feeling a lot of pain, even though the gods were supporting it the whole time. And this is really a lover's relationship that has caused great pain, probably because the divine masculine has a naughty problem. Naughty. Just can't conform to the rules of the game. and is unwilling to receive or incapable of receiving with love and appreciation, aside maybe from a duplicitous, oh, thank you so very much. You know what I mean? Wearing a mask. Definitely there's a mask being worn here, and if it's a narcissistic mask, my good God, my divine feminine, I'm so sorry, I know. But if not, you know, divine masculine, if you're the one who's watching this, huge opportunity for you to receive love from the higher powers, right? Whatever it is you want from this divine feminine, you've got to give yourself, and you can give yourself. You just have to be a little vulnerable at first, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, right? Your walls are up. That's how it is. I get it. Divine masculines had to keep their walls up for millennia and millennia and millennia. Repressed for success. It doesn't work anymore. It creates such toxicity and such pain in the world. And you're just pushing it into your own nervous system and into the collective. That's why violence keeps happening, right? You have to let that stuff up and out. Let that inner child cry. No one has to see you do it. Do it behind, you know, closed doors. Therapy, for example. Matt KAHN videos at 2 a.m. in the morning. Trust me, they're miraculous. Please, higher selves of all involved, please. A whisper of love card here for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, Twin, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, Twin Flame contract for November-ish 2019. We've got the overarching archetype of the goddess archetype. 4 of Flames from the divine feminine, conflict. Divine masculine, talking about that goat, that Capricorn, slow and steady wins the race, trying to build something durable long term. But in the balance of it all from the angels, it's like this is balancing out. This is balancing this out in both of them. They think they both want something stable and long term, but it's probably not going to work together with the two of them in this contract as is, because overall there's an energy here. If this is a mistake, this was all a mistake, and yet so much opportunity for healing individually that can bring happiness. Please, what say you, the higher selves of all involved? Top card, okay. Demonstrate love. Find out what is important to the people you love and act on it. What you're both learning here. You're learning how to demonstrate love in a healthy way, and you had to make mistakes of how not to do it to learn how to do it. That's the lead into the gold. And look, learning how to demonstrate love, we do it when we're children and we get scolded for it, right? Even if it's, you know, obviously not romantic love, but you know, I remember smiling at people when I was a kid. Oh, I was my middle name's Angelo, Mark Angelo. I was such a little angel, such a little Mark Angel, right? Just like, hi, hi. It was like, don't talk to strangers, right? And scar, but necessary, right? You're not born with boundaries. You learn them from your family and your environment. Isn't that lovely, right? But then as we grow and mature, we create healthy, sane, lovely boundaries, and it feels like those are necessary. Look, like I said, these two might be able to pull it off and have a happy relationship, but it's always going to be transformative. They have to both, like, divine feminine has to consider her foundation. It's like, well, if I really want to heal and transform, this is a relationship. I got to play this out until it's done. The divine masculine saying, oh my God, I have to actually be vulnerable and allow this in. Oy, right? But together, that they're learning how to be demonstrative in love, to be honest, to be authentic in how they demonstrate love to the people around them, not just in this relationship. We're going to end with the Journey of Love Oracle card. I am going to read it from the book because I'm not memorizing all them poems, right? Oh, please. I am so focused in the present moment. Time means nothing, right? Memory. Not that it's completely shot. I can usually remember where my keys are with an appropriate finding spell. But, you know, you'll see. These cards are so wonderful. They're worth me reading from the book. I have a lovely speaking voice. I should. I went to 3.5 years of speech training. It's what I'll do. It's what I'll do. I say it so well. Was that just a fucking Geico gecko? Oh my God, I did an Australian reptile. I don't think I've ever met an Australian reptile. I love Aussies. Good on ya. You put a shrimp on your Barbie. Breathe. As we started with the archetype cards, the collective pantheons, we do the same with the Journey of Love Oracle. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, one final card down in clarity. for this Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin flame. This feels really good. Twin flame contract for November-ish 2019. Where is this twin flame contract on the journey of love? Yin Yang Lover! Sorry, I just had a 90s Rasta flashback. Champion Lover! It was a good time. But I remember that. Yeah, I used to hang out with dreads. Not shocked. I actually knew somebody very high up in the Rastafarian community on Long Island, but that was a long time ago. Yin Yang Lover. That stuck in my head all day long. Card number 8. Reduces to an 8. Because it's card number 8. Yin Yang Lover. I mean, there's divine masculine, divine feminine, right? That these two are perfect together in terms of a twin flame contract is what I'm getting. So these have a bit of a card description, an oracular meaning. Like first they tell you, kind of feel the vibe of the card itself and then what it means in the oracle, and then a lovely poem. This one's a little long, so please breathe with me. Won't you? Number 8, Yin Yang. That's the correct pronunciation. Lover. The force of attraction is stronger than your conscious control. Twin flame. There is no need to fight this inner genius. You can learn to speak its language instead. What is it that captures you? Done one. What is it that captures you, that pulls you close, that holds so much light for you? Why fight it? Don't step away from what you really love to grab a hold of a second prize. Oh, in other words, really go for it. Don't let it go to go for some second prize. Why not claim your first prize? It's there waiting for you. It is yours alone, beloved. No one else can claim your own divine birthright for you. Be yielding and let your desire fill your body, your heart, and your mind. You don't have to fight for what is already yours. It will come to you through the field of attraction that emanates from your own heart. It's true, the heart is an electromagnetic, magnificent thing. Chakra. It is not a question of worthiness or deservedness. It is not a question of trying to work out what you need or want. Your heart always knows. Listen. If you still can't hear, then just feel. You'll get the gist of it soon enough, all right? So that is saying that, like, really, if either one of them or both of them, it's like, really, this is not working. This is not what I want. Thank you. Let me learn what I have to learn here. But then this would be second prize. But what is the real first prize? It is about learning how to heal yourself, how to grow. So if you can refocus it that way, then this need not be so turbulent, right? You'll still trigger the fuck out of each other. But you'll be moving towards health. This oracle has a message for you. No matter whether you seem to be heading closer to your goal or further away, you are making real spiritual progress, and what you want is the same thing that is wanting you. What you are seeking is seeking you. It is only a matter of time before you get it. So that's not even saying in this relationship that they're going to be happily ever after, but it does say that there's a happy mistake here going on. Here's the poem. This usually helps. The moment when to fill my heart again is measured not in time or sweet remorse, nor tears that wash away unbridled pain, or morning's light which sings its soft retort. Such love has slept through storm and winters long. No call could break the stillness's embrace, or hasten change before the season's song unfurls its melody and words so chaste, C-H-A-S-T-E. Empowered thus, I found myself compelled to cast aside emotions dormant still. My feelings spoke from depths the answer welled, no need or past the emptiness to fill. At one, our touch has opened hearts anew. Of patience born, there waits a love so true. To me, that says that this contract is about preparing you both for what you really want. If you can part friends, that would be great. maybe after some time you'll be able to do that. But you know what? Let's do this in overview. Say it with me, please. Magic clap! We have got the Divine Feminine in a Don Juan archetype here, shadow attribute, using the power of romantic agenda, a romantic attraction for private agenda. The light attribute spotlights your positive, seductive qualities, along with the angel card of support, that she is being supported by the higher power, but yet being deceived as to who is deceiving her, if she is deceiving whomever or just deceiving herself. As a result of a great deal of pain going on in the emotional body, feeling that loud and clear with the Lover's card here. This is definitely a romantic wound that is probably not so much about the Divine Masculine, but romantic woundage baggage from the past. And she is to consider her foundation. How committed is she to love? She might be really like, fuck this. I've been to Paris, I've been to Minsk, and all I can say, babe, is love stinks, love stinks. Consider your foundation, Divine Feminine. You've got a Don Juan archetype in there. So magnetic, so seductive. Just use your powers for good, not evil. Be a hero, not a villain. Seems to be such a theme nowadays. For the Divine Masculine, we've got the Trickster. In the shadow attribute, manipulating others through duplicity. The light attribute, transcending conventions, stuffiness, and transcending predictable behavior. And this card of nature from the angels is saying this is either part of their nature or that, you know, they're outdoorsy, but it kind of feels like this is just part of their nature. This might be a lifelong Chronos archetype for this Divine Masculine, and is willing to defend it, right? Willing to stand their ground, to go through whatever necessary to pull off their tricks as needed. But sometimes those tricks are necessary to transcend toxic situations. And yet we have in here an emotional problem. There's definitely an emotional problem, and I think that's why these twin flames were contracted, so that they could both process their own individual pain, probably by triggering the fuck out of each other, because he's so naughty and he's so fun and she's so seductive. They keep coming back together. But his guidance here from the higher self is receive with love and appreciation. Receiving something lovingly from others is a way of showing love. Like, just to say thank you. Like, I really had a good time and I don't know what's going to happen next, but, you know, I appreciate what's going on here, even though it's not always easy. The overall relationship, we've got the goddess archetype, the contract itself in the shadow, exploitation of the female nature and form, which means probably that the Divine Feminine is getting, but it's interesting, he's got nature, that the Divine Feminine, both of them are being exploited here in the shadow, but the light attribute, the gold they're shooting for, is the feminine expressed through wisdom, which comes from experience, nature, there's that word again, life, force, and sensuality, that there is something very warm and sensual and natural about this relationship, and yet we have a balancing of a conflict through hard work. This is not an easy contract by any means, but I don't think it's a mistake either. We can't make mistakes in the quantum because every probability is already calculated, every outcome already determined, just which one will we hit. Because there's such happiness here too. So a happy mistake, a mistake that turns out to be not a mistake in retrospect, with the overall relationship here about the two of them being able to demonstrate love. Find out what is important to the people you love and act on it. Very, very easy to say, not very easy to do with conflict, pain, mistakes, and a problem on the table. But we end with this yin-yang lover card, this journey of love card that really speaks that the attraction between the two of them is so intense, really hard to not fall back into old patterns here, seeing it as a mistake. But this is really about the two of you. You are helping, you're teaching each other everything that you need to go on and have the true love relationship, the true healthy, wealthy, wise, balanced, happy, supportive, sounds much like more like a soulmate than a twin flame to me, relationship that you truly want. So do remember the twin flame relationships are essential to clearing the ground, if you will, tilling the soil, pulling out the rocks and the roots to then grow a true lover or a soulmate contract. So there we go, my Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Whether you're a divine masculine or divine feminine here, this twin flame contract, I don't tell people what to do, but I would say really do what the contracts are all about, which is about learn about your own nature, divine masculine, learn how you deceive yourself, divine feminine, learn how to heal your pain, fix your problem. That this relationship in a way is a happy mistake, and that you really, really, really are learning so much that will prepare you for something much healthier, even if it's not together. Cool, cool. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, may the Aquarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed in their twin flame relationships with all that they need to learn how to heal, to grow, to learn, become the best they can be, and fulfill their role in the divine plan for the well-being of all. I really mean that, and so it is. Please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this fucker everywhere, comment in the box below, help me get to 1,000+ subscribers, and I promise you, I will deliver some drunk tarot at least for a couple of months to see how that goes. Cool, cool. Thank you so much for watching. It was an honor to read you. Twin flame reads are rarely so pleasurable the way I do it. Go watch Soulmate Reads. You'll have a lot more fun. Cool, cool. Thank you so much for watching. But for now, as ever, hail, farewell, and blessed be.